Vanlife is nothing new. Not everyone who's doing it is following a trend or a hashtag. This is me when I was 16. Hanging out with my friends who were traveling the country in their vans. This was early 90s, and there was like a whole generation before me doing the exact same thing. So this was always a plan for me, way before social media and back when hashtags were known as the pound key. Did I think my van would look like this? Absolutely not. Could never have dreamed that my van would look like this. But my timing coincided with what everyone thinks is a brand new trend is purely coincidental. I was waiting for my kid to go off on his own before I could do this, and that's happening now. The privilege to do this by choice? Absolutely. I'm very lucky too, for my teen years on, to have lived a privileged middle-class life. Buying my first home 20 years ago was also a privilege. How to talk with van lifers, making the price of vans inaccessible to those who really need it, and that definitely does play a role. But I think a part of the conversation that's being left out is the pandemic. There was definitely price gouging with the pandemic, but also microchip shortages played a huge role in the increase of any kind of vehicle. I started looking in 2020. I wasn't even looking for a van at the time. I was initially thinking that I might get a Class C, which is just a bigger traditional RV. They weren't even taking orders for the ones that I wanted because they weren't sure when they'd be able to fulfill those. When I moved on to a travel trailer, I thought I was going to be getting an Airstream, whether vintage or brand new, but I couldn't get a truck to pull it. The lots were empty. There were waiting lists of 2 years. If you saw something for sale on the website, it was already claimed, but they weren't telling you that because it would look like they had absolutely no inventory, when in fact they had absolutely no inventory. The vehicles that I did see that were available, right on the MSRP sticker on the window, it had a $10,000 upcharge that they were straight up saying, we're charging you an additional $10,000 due to inventory shortages. I wasn't going to pay an extra $10,000 for a vehicle. I was just going to wait until prices came down. And that's what I did. And that's what's still happening. My van today would be probably $25,000 less than what I paid. So I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't keep waiting. Blame can't solely be put on social media causing like a big influx of van lifers. Like I said, this lifestyle isn't new to many of us. The pandemic had people stir crazy. You weren't able to travel unless you were in kind of like your own little bubble. I've been working remotely for about 15 years, so it wasn't new to me, but a lot of people were experiencing like that kind of freedom for the first time, and of course they wanted to hit the road. And that's why you see many vans just like mine that are 2 years old and for sale. 16-year-old me is pretty fucking pleased that I was able to make this happen. I'm hoping that anybody who is interested in doing this is able to make it happen as well, because in my opinion it's a human right to be able to move around your country and have affordable housing.